Hey small business owners, thanks for tuning in. This is the Big Small Expert, a show for independent retailers that gives you tips and tricks on how to make your business stand out in a sea of big box retailers. I'm your host, the Big Small Expert, Melissa Palermo, and I opened my first retail store almost 20 years ago, and my passion for small business has continued to grow since then. In this episode, we are going to talk about 5 things that retailers tend to overlook. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day tasks, but you're not going to want to miss this episode because you really could be missing out on doing some really easy things to improve your business. For more small business tips and tricks, subscribe to this podcast and follow the Big Small Expert on social media. Check the show notes for all the ways that we can connect. All right, let's get into this episode. This is a good one. I'm super excited. So now this is not the top 5 things. This is just 5 things. I have a really long list, but let's just say we'll keep it to 5, okay? So the first thing that a lot of small business owners tend to overlook is maintenance on their stores. Sometimes they're renting, so it might not actually be something that they're responsible for. Maybe it's the outside of your storefront. The paint is peeling, it's faded, but that's not really something you're supposed to take care of. So certainly trying to get onto your landlord and have them do it is really important, or finding some ways around it so that it doesn't look as bad. Maybe just sprucing it up a little bit yourself, giving it a good power washing, a good cleaning. Other maintenance things might be, do you have light bulbs out? Do you have mismatched light bulbs too? Some places will have light bulbs that are LEDs. Some will have some that are a soft white. Some will have the nice warm yellow glow. It's very off-putting to have the light bulbs be mismatched and all over the place. Recently, I was at my eye doctor's and I said to him, what is going on with your lighting in here? It's all over the place. And he said some of his light fixtures, the ballasts were going out, and so he was waiting to change them. Yeah, I get it that you're going to want to change the light fixture as they start to break, but oh, was that terrible. If you're going to start to change light fixtures, do them all. Really, plan on doing them all. Other thing is, how scuffed up are your windows? Not your windows, your walls. When we move into a new house, it's beautiful, crisp, clean. Say we just had it built, something like that. And then within days, weeks, months, it starts to show wear and tear. The light fixtures, the doorways, the walls, they get scuffed up, they get handprints, they get dirt on them, and that really shows. And let's face it, we spend a lot of time in our businesses. So you kind of become immune to seeing some of these things. If you live in a house and let's say you're just a messy, unorganized person, you kind of don't notice the things that are sitting around anymore. Maybe you always have clutter on your dining room table. A new guest might notice, but you're like, oh, that's just sort of the way it is. I don't even see it anymore. So it's really important to go around and check and see what your customers see when they walk in your store, when they shop around, when they go into the fitting rooms, when they go into the bathroom. We'll get back to the bathroom in a minute. The other thing is dirty windows. You would be amazed at how many small businesses I come across where their windows are just repulsive. I know it's not easy, it's not fun, it's not glamorous to necessarily clean your windows. I personally don't do it very much in my own home. However, at my business, I certainly do. A lot of times I'll see cracked and crackly paint that's coming off the walls in the store window. Say there's a retail display there. It needs a good vacuuming. There's dead bugs against the window. All the flies have come in and then tried to get out and have died in there. Ugh, that is so off-putting. So really looking at those details is huge. And to be quite honest, it doesn't cost anything to clean them up, to vacuum them out, to make them look fresh and clean. It's your first impression. It's what you're trying to do to get people to walk into your door. I had said we were going to get back to the bathroom. The bathroom is huge to me. It's such an opportunity that gets missed. And I know you're like, Melissa, what are you talking about? It's a bathroom. If you have a public restroom, you definitely are missing an opportunity if you are not, first of all, connecting with your customer and giving them things to read, shall we say, events that are coming up, specials that you're having, sales, installs. I mean, I am a woman. Women do tend to do most of the shopping. We also will sit down in our stall and we'll look at the door right in front of us. And if there's nothing to see there, there's nothing to see. However, if there is a flyer in there and it's talking about an upcoming event, I'm automatically going to read it. Even if I didn't want to, it automatically happens. The other thing is a lot of times the restrooms get neglected. And I'm not saying that they're dirty or anything like that. Of course, you do need to really keep your restroom clean, but they get neglected in that brand awareness and putting in beautiful finishes and bright color paints and all those things in the actual retail store is number one on the list. But then by the time you get to the bathroom, the lighting is terrible. Sometimes there isn't even a mirror. And there is nothing that says this vanilla box has anything to do with this retail store that I'm in. It's a huge opportunity to drive your brand home and to get your customer to know things that you would probably spend a lot of money to do to advertise. I was recently in Key West a few weeks ago, and I was at a business called the Key Lime Pie Company. And for any of you that are a fan of the show that used to be on CNBC called The Profit, it was hosted by Marcus Lemonis. That was one of the businesses that he went in, bought 51% of the business from the owners. So he was majority partner and remodeled the whole thing. And I went in, the product was delicious. The atmosphere was great. It was really well kept. The people were friendly. And then I went to the bathroom. And I will, if you want to see the pictures from the bathroom, hop over to Instagram at The Big Small Expert and you will see them. It was so, I was shocked. There was a a hand dryer on the wall that obviously had not worked for a very long time because there was a faded sign that said, hey, on the wall behind you are paper towels to dry your hand. It was dark. It was dingy. It had been white at one point, but it has now sort of yellowed to an off-white. It was gross and terrible. And I couldn't believe that a business owned by a man who has so many incredibly successful businesses had let the bathroom slide. I'm just shocked by that. But that just goes to show that it really is an easy to overlook space in your store. So I'm going to encourage you, do something amazing with that bathroom. Do something interesting. Do something to talk to your customers in your bathroom. Now, if you have only an employees only bathroom, it still needs to be clean, obviously. You can also still talk to your employees and encourage them, have positive affirmations in there. It's not just for the public, but that changes how you're going to decorate the inside of it. Another missed opportunity that gets overlooked by retailers is collecting email addresses. I do deal with a lot of really, really small 1 to 2 employee businesses. And I understand that that is another thing to do, email marketing. And maybe you have no plans of email marketing. Maybe that's something that is so out of your scope, you don't want to, you don't think you need to, whatever it is. But you should still be collecting email addresses. Absolutely. So again, when I was in Key West a few weeks ago, we went to 2 competing rum distilleries. And it was so amazing. The one we went to, they both give free tours. They're very similar. They're within blocks of each other. The one, You say, hi, I'd like to be a part of a free tour. And they say, okay, we have one coming up at this time. Meet back here at this time and we'll give you your tour. Great. The other one says, okay, we have free tours available at this time. To get you checked in for a free tour, I just need to get a little bit of information. Your name, maybe where you're from, and your email address. Boom! So I wanted that free tour. Absolutely, I wanted that free tour. And in order to get it, I had to hand over my email address. And before I had even left Key West, now mind you, this was the last day of our visit. We were planning on leaving the distilleries for the airport. I had already gotten an email welcoming me to their email list, allowing me to unsubscribe because they have to, but welcoming me, reminding me of what they have, what I did there, and just how important I am to them. Now, what's really funny is the first distillery, I liked their rum much better. I liked their tour. I liked things about them. It just felt like it was more my personality, shall we say, at that distillery. But I haven't heard a peep from them because they never got my email address. So unless I reach out to them or I find them on social media or I seek them out, I won't hear from them again. And that's a lost opportunity. Huge, huge opportunity, especially when most businesses have a way of selling online, some sort of e-commerce. The emails I have been getting from the second distillery, they tell me what new items are coming out, where I can buy these items since I don't live locally, and how to get them online. It's huge. All right, so collect emails. Oh, and even if it's just you have a small piece of paper, this isn't great, but you have a notebook right at your cash wrap, right at the front desk that says, hey, would you like to hear more from us? Let us know. Write your email address down. That's it. It could be that simple. There's a lot of power in having email addresses from people who have walked into your store or who have shown interest in your product. Another thing would be, while we're talking about doing things online, would be claiming listings. So if you go on, say, Google or TripAdvisor, Yelp sometimes, businesses that exist have listings there, especially Google. They'll have a listing. And the person who claims that business listing, which in theory would be the business owner, they can edit that. They can add their website address, their updated hours. They can add a description. They can add pictures. They can add all sorts of things that help people find them or want to come visit them. Any kind of information, mostly, actually, I'm going to interrupt myself. When we want any kind of information about going to a store, chances are we'll hop on our phone, we'll hop on our computer, and we will type into a search engine the business name. And then we want to know what their hours are, where they're located, all sorts of things. We might even want to see reviews. So I'm going to encourage you to go and claim at least, let's say two business listings. Now, if you don't claim them, that really means that somebody else could. So let's say you have a competitor who's really cutthroat, and I hope you don't, but let's say you do. Someone who is really close by, has similar product, and maybe wants your business, wants the people who are coming into your store. They can claim that, say, Google listing if you haven't claimed it. They absolutely can. And that allows them to say, hey, Google, tell everybody that this store is permanently closed. Hey, Google, let's make the phone number something that's incorrect. So there's a lot of power in that if other business owners claim them or other people claim them, and then you don't have the narrative. So go and claim at least two. At least two. There's plenty more to claim, but start with just two and make Google number one if you have not claimed it. And last but not least, on 5 things that retailers overlook, I'm going to say it, the smell of your store. I have been to many places where the smell is super off-putting. Sometimes maybe it's the product that they carry. Maybe it's a perfume store and it's too perfumey for me. There isn't a lot that you can do about that. I totally get that. I really do. But maybe it's a gift shop that's part of an ice cream store. Well, when I walk in there, I don't want to smell bleach. And to tell you, I say that actually from experience. We had an ice cream store in our town, and who doesn't love ice cream? That sweet, delicious taste, and then you go in and it smells like bleach, which in theory is good because, boy, this place must be super clean. But boy, that smell does not make a person's appetite start activating. It doesn't make their mouth water. It's a turnoff. It really is. So if your business smells undesirable, we'll say, that is important to know. So let's say, I don't know, you like to eat steamed fish for lunch every day. That is your prerogative. It is your store. You can microwave that and sit down at the cash wrap if you need to and eat it. However, you're not doing yourself any favors. Let's be realistic. This is not, while we spend a lot of time in our businesses, it's not our home. It really isn't. It's a place of business and it's a place where it needs to be professional, and having some strong, pungent, undesirable odor just is not there. Americans tend to actually like the scent of apple pie. Now that is certainly a seasonal smell. So if you want that as your smell, that's great, but I wouldn't do that in, say, May. But you might want to do that in October. Just a thought. So those are 5 things that retailers overlook. Let me go back and list them off again. Maintenance, the bathroom's huge, collecting email addresses from customers, claiming listings, especially Google, and then making sure that our business smells appetizing. So there you go. I want to thank you guys for joining me. Again, check the show notes for ways that we can connect. And I will see you again and talk to you again on our next episode.